Think aging only shows up in the mirror. Wrinkles, gray hair, sagging skin. But one of the most important changes as you get older is happening where you can't see it at all. It's happening inside your blood vessels. Your blood vessels affect every part of your body and how it functions every single day. And here's the thing, as you get older, your vascular system can start to malfunction. That resiliency, the ability of your blood vessels to adapt, dilate, lower stress on the circulation in your heart, well, that actually begins to decline. They can actually help to explain why you feel lower energy, slower recovery, and even brain fog. The good news is that you can protect vascular resilience and you can reverse the damage by using food as medicine. This is actually an important component. So what are these foods? Let's take a look. You ready? Let's go. To start, I want to talk about one feature of healthy blood vessels, and that's a term that you might be familiar with, which is resiliency. Your blood vessels are constantly adjusting and adapting and being really resilient. When you exercise, your blood vessels widen to increase blood flow to your muscles. When you eat, your blood vessels help to direct nutrients where they are needed. And when your brain is active, the blood vessels in your brain, there's 400 miles worth, bring focused blood flow to the parts of your brain that need more of it in order to be able to focus on what you're actually doing. Now, this ability of blood vessels to adapt moment to moment is crucial for keeping your body functioning efficiently as you age. First of all, let's take a look at what makes blood vessels resilient and how does that change as we get older. This flexibility I'm talking about, resilience, comes from a layer of cells lining the blood vessels called the endothelium. The endothelium is kind of like a saran wrap layer inside the tube of your blood vessels. Each of these cells in that lining produce biological signals, and one of them is called nitric oxide. Not nitrous oxide, which is laughing gas, but nitric oxide, which is a biological signal. And what nitric oxide does is it tells blood vessels to relax and get wider. And this starts to lower blood pressure. It brings better blood flow to where you need it, and it actually takes the stress off your circulation. Jetting blood puts a lot of stress on your blood vessels, so when you actually widen, the stress goes down, and it also takes the burden off your heart. Now, this is where things get interesting and important during aging, because as we get older, that resiliency, the ability of your blood vessels to adapt, dilate, lower stress in the circulation in your heart, well, that actually begins to decline, and your body produces less nitric oxide, so there's less resiliency. And the endothelium, that blood vessel lining I was talking about, also becomes much more vulnerable to damage. So what happens with damage is inflammation. You can actually have accumulation of junk on it. And when that happens, inflammation will begin to actually form inside the walls of your blood vessels. This further weakens the normal resiliency, because now you don't have a normal thickness and function of the blood vessel wall, but now it's inflamed. Over years of this kind of stress, your blood vessels become less and less and less responsive. They're less able to dilate, to regulate blood flow, and you're less able to adapt to changes.
Andrew A.J. Madrid are dead from multiple gunshot wounds. 16 others are injured.
Aging as fatigue, not enough blood flow, weakness, not enough muscle strength with less blood flow, less focus. Brain circulation is
Heart is littered with bullet casings and blood spatter.
well, the good news is that you can protect the vascular resilience and you can reverse damage by using food as medicine.
Ambulances rush the victims to a nearby hospital. And the most critical cases are life-flighted to another medical center. Back at the park, officers gathered information from a handful of eyewitnesses who previously were seen.
And it can also reduce inflammation with the right polyphenols as well. So what are these foods? Let's take a look. Ready? Let's go. First food I'm going to talk about is something simple but surprisingly powerful. And that's my favorite breakfast food, blueberries. Blueberries contain polyphenols called anthocyanins. These are natural dyes that give blueberry their deep blue color.
St. Jude Partner Co. is a monthly donation and is part.
With a mass shooting on their hands and the gunman on the loose, Las Cruces Police Chief Jeremy Story requests assistance from multiple law enforcement agencies, including the New Mexico State Police and the FBI. as officers secure the crime scene and wait for CSI techs to arrive. Even they are stunned by what has just happened. Detectives are dispatched to the hospital, where a crowd of worried loved ones have gathered outside.
If everybody can listen up real quick, I'm Detective Melinda with Lexington Police Department. At this point, obviously, it's a chaotic scene, correct? So we're trying to figure out, we have...
I know, they hit the sick people at the registers for $1, and then they advertise it, and they use it, they're making money at all places.
Who was there?
I know, there's a lot of sick people.
Or witnessed the fight. That's what we specifically need right now. So if you were there, do you have identification as far as any victims, identifications of the shooters or vehicles involved? I need you guys to come see me now.
Inside, investigators speak with some of the surviving victims, hoping they can provide a clearer picture of what happened and who is responsible.
What's going on there in the park? Have you ever heard of people? No. So like people start doing burnouts, donuts. Me and my son were just sitting there just watching. Yeah, bro.
Activate the blood vessel lining the endothelium, and it can trigger the production of endothelial nitric oxide synthase, or enos. To simplify this, let me just tell you, anthocyanins are bioactives and polyphenols and blueberries. When you eat them, they get into your blood vessels, and go through your circulation, and it activates a trigger on the lining of our blood vessels called enos. This is an enzyme, basically, that produces more, you guessed it, nitric oxide, the very thing that goes down as we age, helps your blood vessels make more of it, and actually then your blood vessels widen, and you get more resilience, and you get more blood flow, alright? Blood vessels relax more, you get more blood flow, and in human studies, consuming blueberries has been shown to improve resiliency of your blood vessels. We measure that using a test called flow-mediated dilation, or FMD. Again, a function of resiliency, and it reflects how healthy your blood vessel lining endothelium is. So, the question you should be asking is, what's a dose of blueberries that you need to actually get better blood vessel function? Not much. Studies have shown 1 cup of blueberries a day, fresh or frozen, will have that beneficial effect. Anybody can actually do that, and the frozen blueberries also contain those anthocyanins. So if you can't get fresh blueberries, don't worry, go to the frozen section, and the frozen ones will have those polyphenols as well. Second fruit I want to tell you about, now this is one that people are always surprised by, but love the fact.
But the victim's friend was at the car show too, and she's able to provide more details about the gunman.
But to make chocolate, you gotta start with a plant-based ingredient called cacao. Cacao is a pod that grows on a cacao tree in the tropics.
So it's like the Chinese medicine balls?
They're dried, they're roasted, and then turned into a powder. And that cacao powder is used to make chocolate. And the darker the chocolate, you know that percentage you see on the outside of the chocolate label? The darker the chocolate, the higher the percentage of cacao powder, the more plant-based stuff in there. And guess what that plant-based powder has, the cacao? It's got a natural polyphenol called proanthocyanidin, okay? And proanthocyanidins also have powerful effects on blood vessel health. One of them is that chocolate proanthocyanidins, the polyphenols, can stimulate your stem cells. These stem cells they normally live in your bone marrow, they come out into your bloodstream when they're stimulated by proanthocyanidins, like bees flying out of a hive. And guess what they do? They repair and regenerate your damaged blood vessels. They regenerate the endothelial lining. And the way this works, cacao works is by stimulating nitric oxide in your endothelium. Same mechanism as the blueberries, that blood vessel lining, and making nitric oxide is so important for resiliency. And clinical studies have shown that cacao flavonols can stimulate nitric
The
oxide,
video gives police
dilation,
their first
and
look
also
at
help
the
to lower
shooters,
blood
and as more
pressure.
video
Very
evidence comes in
important
throughout
to
the night,
prevent
it shows the gunman
cardiovascular
fleeing
diseases
the park
like
in what
stroke,
appears to be
So,
a red
how much
Mercedes.
chocolate do you need? Well, the effective
But no
dose
one
is about
seems to
2
know
to 600
exactly who
milligrams
these gunmen are.
of
Until one
cacao
shooting
flavonols
victim
every single
offers
day.
up a name.
And if you're like me, you go, what does that mean in terms of a chocolate bar? I would just tell you 2 or 3 small squares of dark chocolate, 70% or higher cacao will actually do the trick. Easy to do. And by the way, if you want to find a way to eat your high flavanol, high percentage cacao, dark chocolate, and you think it's a little bit bitter, my tip to you is to actually have those squares with a cup of coffee, black coffee ideally, all right? guess what? Chocolate pieces plus coffee equals mocha. Everyone loves that. And if you feel like the dark chocolate's a little bitter, that's the way that you get around it. Ready for the next food? It's